All right, motherfuckers, yo. I've been promising you guys episode 42 for a long, long time. Am I a Rocket Man?
Yo, bro, listen. I'm like, I'll say this, man. Definitely Rocket Man. Like, I'm in pain right now, so I'll just be blunt for the people watching. Reason why we haven't really done much live shows, I got a fracture in my hip because I'm old.
Nah, it was because let's talk about you getting fucked, because I think that's what broke your hip.
I mean, I wish I would have got fucked. It would have been far more enjoyable. I don't want to go too into it because I got to keep some things private due to my nature of my work, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. But long story short,
$20 is $20.
$20. Long story short, dinged my hip where I thought I just bruised it. Right, I got rammed into, and I was plowing my bed, and I just thought, like, it was just a bruise, right? Because, like, when you get out of the water, you act a little screwy, you start humping everything. But, so I go, this happened about probably 2 days before I got off the boat. And I'm like, yo, like, my hip, like, it hurts, like it's kind of sore, thinking I bruised it. So I go home, not feeling awesome, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I wake up. I would have to say, like, the second night I was home, bro, I woke up with, like, electric shock felt like going up my back, like, just, like, on fire. I'm like, oh, my God, I can't sleep. And this was the first time my girls ever saw me really angry. I'm like, motherfucker, can't sleep. And I was losing it.
She's never seen you on the ice?
No, thank God. I think... So anyways, I couldn't sleep, so I literally walked, and this was the dumb thing to do. My doctor told me I shouldn't have done this. I walked for like 3 miles to just tire myself out, and it hurt the whole way, but I was just so angry. I let the anger fuel me, and like it's more. No, I mean, like, I'm weird like that, bro. I'm weird like that because, quite frankly, like, the angrier I got, the further I just wanted to go. And it was just like, but anyway, so long story short, go to a clinic, down by where I used to live in Warwick, get x-rays, and they're like, yeah, it looks like you have a fracture in your hip. And I was like, what? A fracture? Is like, yeah, like that shooting pain you're feeling in your back, it's like, it's definitely stemmed through that.
Big ass dick.
Yeah, I mean, it was wild, bro. But like, you for those anti-LGBT statements on here, I will not stand. so I will not stand for that. But yeah, so I've been not feeling great. I mean, like, me and my co-host got into a little, like, discussion because I was actually thinking about maybe, like, hiding the injury and trying to work this past couple of weeks, but I think it was good I didn't because, yeah,
it's not really healing the way it's supposed to. Not yet. So.
No, so, but yeah, long story short, that's my sob story, sticking to it. Yeah. So, nothing too crazy.
Are we going to talk about why you look like you're the target of the Roman Catholic priests? Are we going to talk about that?
I mean, listen, bro. I fucked up shaving. I was pissed. I was really pissed, bro. Like, so I go there, trim it. I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna trim it, like, because it was getting to the point where it was huge, and I like, it makes it, difficult to, like, consume, like, dinner and shit like that. And, like, quite frankly, I was pissed, dude. So, like, I shaved, and my girl, like, at the door bumped me. So, like, when I was shaving, right up against the right side, so I look like a big douchebag. And she was heartbroken more than anybody because she loves the beard, and it was like one of those things. I'm like, God, fuck it, damn it. So I'm like, you know what, fuck it. I just clean shaved. I usually do it once a year anyways, just for, like, maintenance. But yeah, man, it's so now I look back to the old days. Let's see. Yo. The disrespect. The absolute disrespect. No. See, listen, the Manscaped ad happens down here. You know what I mean? So I'm good. Yo, like, I see some bald people. Ah, fuck. Sorry.
Oh. That looked like it hurt.
Hold on a sec, bud. Yeah. So no, I didn't shave. I don't have grays yet. I mean, I have a receding hairline like LeBron, but I'm not going gray. So like it's.
I'm going gray everywhere.
I mean.
Yeah, for real. I'm like, oh.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, that was dumb. But yeah, so like, yeah, that's why I look like a fucking pubescent boy. It's really, really shitty. But I'm already getting a 5 o'clock shot. I'm hoping in 2 weeks it grows back. So, what kind of show is this?
Do you think that you're going to be getting a house call from your local priest? And if so, will you open the door?
Listen, so, okay, funny story. Let's actually go into this, right? So, like, okay, so, like, I went to, like, Catholic school my whole life, right? And, you know, unfortunately, I was never touched. So, you know, it's one of those things that
never been kissed.
I've never been, you know, shown that love. So, we had this priest, Father Gorton, and I think in 3rd grade, he'd have, like, retreats with children, and like would have them over at the rectory and stuff like that. And it was a different type of retreat, apparently. And he ended up like, how do I say this non-bannable here on YouTube? He ended up being too fond of children, and I was one of the few that was not touched because my mom's like, nah, I'm not leaving you alone. Like, you're not taking my kid to the rectory.
I thought it was one of the things where, like, you were the unattractive boy, you know.
Nah, bro, like, and that's the thing, man. Like, I'll be honest, man. I was cute as fuck, man. Like, I would have tapped that if I was a priest. Yo, like, I'll be straight, man. I was like, dude, like, I had a tappable ass, tappable face. Like, yo, I'm just saying, bro. Don't disrespect, no. Nah, but like, all jokes aside, like, it was crazy. I'm like, and it taught me a very valuable lesson: is that you should definitely grow facial hair and look as old as possible, because I'd rather look 40 than look 12 and get fucked. So. Yo, listen, that's disrespectful, Jimmy Dean. I will show child pictures and no, I won't actually. No, I won't.
Whoa! Instead, we'll show this picture because you know, we decided that we weren't gonna go too crazy with like trying to be like, you know, too whatever.
Yeah.
And we decided that we were going to take a look at this.
Bro, 1994 me and 2014 me thought 2014 me would kick 1994 me's ass. All right, yo, listen. Let's stop the cap. When you lose what makes you a man, right? Like, you get that estrogen put in you. You get your nuts stipped like a dog. Like, quite frankly.
Hey, you gotta save that for Low T show.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
We'll tell the audience about the we've already recorded episode 1. But yeah, let's save that for the Low T show.
My apologies. I just so used to being savage all day.
But talk about neutering, spay and neuter your pets.
All right. So like,
Bob Barker could say it during the day, right? So that must be clean.
So when you Bob Barker yourself, right? So we'll keep it friendly. So when you Bob Barker yourself, there's no way you're gonna ever be able to lay the same amount of hands. I don't care, bro. Like, you're in there facing women as a man, beating the crap out of them. Like, that's not impressive. Like, I want you to square up at the bar with some random dude. Honestly, like, I'll be quite fucking blunt with you, man. Like, I don't want to hear that shit. I just don't. I like, legitimately, that shit's wild to me. Legitimately, that is absolutely fucking crazy to me. You can't say you a better fighter with Bob Barker out here being like, remember to spray and neuter and just like, nah. Like, I don't know. Like, what would you think, man? Like, because I think, like, mind you, I think 1994, anybody could take that person, but like, I will give the 94 the edge over the 14. Who you putting up? Who you got?
I've got no dignity because I'm covering this shit.
Yeah, bro, listen. Calm yourself, Bob Barker. Let's go. Tell me right now, who you picking? Who you picking in a fight?
Saddam Hussein.
I mean, all right. So,
just looking at this, I see two different versions of the same corny motherfucker.
I agree.
But if I had to make a choice, we're going back to the future on this one. The 94 version is definitely beating the crap out of the 2014 version.
Thank you. I mean, like, more testosterone, less estrogen. Like, I like.
Yeah.
Come on.
The 1994 version got his ass kicked a lot by men. That's why they went
by design, but that's a whole different show to say. But, you know, quite frankly, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Because, like, you know what? I'm about it right now. Do you believe Fox should be able to fight in the women's division?
I think that there should be a third division where they just call it the trans division, right?
Yeah.
Because I think that one of the most interesting things, what I want to know, is a female on male hormones, are they better or stronger than a male on female hormones?
Bro, it's equality.
That's really interesting.
That's really, for science, right? Like, that's why we need it. Yeah. For science, like, no other reason. I agree with you. Absolutely. Like, I think there's a men's, women's, and mutilation division, and I think that'd be perfect. Like, honestly, Bob Barker would be proud.
One side is mutilating the top, and the other side is mutilating the bottom. Oh, no, we're going to hell.
Listen. We are an LGBTQ LMNOP friendly show here. So definitely leave comments down below. We will definitely be interested to hear your thoughts and opinions. I mean, listen, like, I let people do their life and all that shit. Like, whatever, do what you want to do. But, like, I have a problem with, like, Fox going into a women's division just, like, literally, like, breaking
faces.
Yeah, like, it's just awkward, right? It's like, it's just awkward. It's just very, very awkward. Now, the one thing the one sport where I think it would be.
Did you see I just saw the hashtag.
Transition Tuesday. Yo, that's wild. I mean, I have to say this.
Yeah, this is a new posting on Facebook by Mr. We can't do that.
By Fox and Friends, but
Fox
I think, but like
multiple personalities. Fox and Friends.
So like
that's Fox's new name, Fox and Friends.
Fox and Friends, because like my thing is this is like, the one sport it would make sense to me, frankly, the WNBA. Let's make the WNBA great again. You know what I mean? You had some mixed genders dunking on each other. You know, like you had some Jordan. You know, like, what do you think, man? Because like they're not.
I heard somebody say that recently. Like, what if LeBron James? Oh yeah, we're gonna do some reacting to Just Pearly things. I love her. I don't know what it is with me and gingers, but I love ginger women. Anyway, so I guess she did a debate with this weirdo dude that didn't know what he was talking about. He admitted to not knowing what he was talking about. Because he said that he's neither a medical professional nor does he know much about sports, but he believes that it's discrimination to not allow biological males to compete with biological females. He didn't have any problem with the fact that biological females were not competing with the biological men. That wasn't part of the conversation at all. He was trying to make the case that it is totally fair for biological males to compete against biological females. He said that that's totally fine. What? It's totally fair. But then when asked why there are no biological females competing against men, well, I don't really know, because you don't know what you're talking about.
Whoa, so is that under the premise of like Fox and Friends type thing, or is it under the premise of actual like women versus men?
No, it was like Fox and Friends.
Yeah, see, like I hate that argument, and like we have someone we've done a panel with that has that like line of thinking. Shout out to Anna Rude. Hope you grow up. But like my thing is my thing is this. Quite frankly, that is just so unfair to like demand. Like, when you had Thomas out there wrecking house, and then when media pressure got to it, and obviously changed, and I think through some of those races, I'm like, bro, it's just like not fair. Like, let these women that like did this shit their whole life, let them have a chance to succeed. Let's not be like, there was Title IX for a reason, right? So women could actually have the opportunity to compete at a high level, and you're robbing them of that. Like, I'll be straight, man. Like, if we get a bunch of 16-year-olds or 18-year-old like people that say that they're we would be dominant in like women's sports internationally. Like, is that the new thing? Right? You just have a bunch of men playing in women's sports, and then we'll just wreck house and
like Joanna Man.
Yeah, like Joanna Man. Like it's just stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous that. You're not. Oh, fuck me. You're not letting me. You're just.
That's how you got into that position in the first place.
Yeah, you're not letting women. You're dumb. You're not letting women kind of just have the chance to succeed. I don't understand the logic. Like,
but what the logic is. No, what they'll say is they're women too.
They're not.
You're just giving more women opportunities.
Listen, if I took like. I wish I had some. If I took some scissors and just I Bob Barkered myself, it doesn't make me a woman. It makes me somebody that probably needs some mental health. I'm just saying, like, live your life, do what you want to do with it. Like yours.
You can't be interfering with other people's lives.
Yeah. Well, let's get rid of the make believe shit. Like that. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta be careful with what I say here.
We gotta be careful because of the platform that we're on. So that is gonna be a pretty good segue, because I figured that we could kind of like let the people know what we're working on. We've been working on this project for about 1.5 years or so, and we're finally like starting to hit our stride when it comes to creating more content. So last week, we hit the record button simply because we just wanted to maybe pick something out of the conversation that we can use later. And they were like, yo, this is actually a lot of fun. So what we did was we said, hey, we're going to have a new show that we're going to do called The Low T Show, where we're not even like really trying to record anything. It's just basically we say a lot of fucked up shit.
Yeah, which would get us
canceled on YouTube.
Yeah. It would get us absolutely canceled. And the premise of this is you're going to get, it's not like we're not ourselves on camera, but we have to be constantly like, oh, let me make like, for example, just right now, right? Like the Bob Barkering yourself. Like I have to come up with a euphemism. If I can even speak, I'm having a stroke right now. We have to come up with certain vernacular to kind of get around the words we'd probably usually say.
Vernacular?
VERNUCLAR, something like that. I think maybe. I'm not a spelling bee champion. I am white. My thing is this, is that quite frankly, we just gotta we have this platform that we want to promote, so you can get the more raw material. And there's so many other things that will be going on this platform, more Papa Thunder type stuff, more other stuff that we got to be careful with what we say here on YouTube. Just unfortunately, free speech is dead, and we're it's to a ridiculous point.
Unless you're a liberal,
I mean,
free speech is dead.
Absolutely. If you went on a 50-minute rant that there's no such thing as men and women, that only unicorns exist, you will not be taken down. But me saying merely that I don't think someone should be performing in a certain sport, that could get taken down. So a little bit of I would say hypocrisy.
Yeah. So we have a more unfiltered approach to our personal conversations that we want to bring to you guys. So we already recorded number one. We're calling it the Low T Show. We're trying to find a name for an after dark type of show, but you guys have already seen after dark everything, right? Exactly. And if Paul would have done this, he would not have a fractured hip. Okay, so no, I'm not going to let you do that to my hip. What the fuck? No.
Yo, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, so we want to do a TSP After Dark thing. I wanted it to be called Finish on Her Face in honor of our guy in Canada, Bruce Bob Trotter. Or is it Bob Bruce Trotter? I don't know.
Bruce Bob or something.
Yeah. But Mrs. Evil is listen, I'm probably going to be the only girl on the screen. It's not going to be everybody finishing off my face. I was so what? Did we call it bukkake? I don't know. I mean, we're gonna figure out a title for our unfiltered, raw, inappropriate conversations. And the Low T, you're gonna hear a lot from Papa Thunder live from his toilet.
You gave away the fucking surprise. Don't do that. Damn
it. No. There's gonna be a lot of really fun shit. So when we get the locals.com on it, I know the subscription and all of that, but it's one of the few types of situations where we'll be able to be less guarded in how we approach this. Hey, Jimmy Dean, if you want to show up on the show, man, and bring the lady, and we can have all kinds of inappropriate conversations.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we're gonna be bringing random people up, not random, but there's actually someone that I used to work with back in the day, who's a sex therapist. So it'd be cool to see if we can get her on the show and talk about sexual health and whatever your particular fuck is. So
wait. So this is kind of a random segue, and I might be catching you off guard here.
Now we're going random. This is all random today.
All random right here, man. So we have some really good followers on this show. Have good conversations and stuff of that ilk. How do you all right, so when you get accused of being a school shooter, how do you deal? So okay, so kind of an inside joke, but so essentially, and I'm kind of outing DG's boy here, but essentially, I guess I was accused
one of our viewers. Yeah, one of our viewers is he sounds like
I sound like
one of these mass shooters, and it's you look like a school shooter right now.
Yeah. So my thing is, when you get accused as a school shooter, like how far is too far, son? You know what I mean? Like, it was actually it kind of gave me an idea. Like, how much do you think people mischaracterize other people online, right? Like from the content they produce, right? Like, how much do you think that some people take like probably maybe the worst aspects of the personality and actually view them as that individual? You know what I'm trying to ask here?
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at some of these guys that are like, "Oh, women's rights, and we need to, we need to protect all women, and we need to believe all women." And these are the same guys that are like, as saying, these women or, lying to several of them, like Derek Jackson, right? Derek Jackson pandered to women, and what was he doing the whole time? Cheating on his wife. Right.
Absolutely.
So, certain people that present themselves online a certain way, I mean, you would hope that they would be, presenting themselves organically, because I think it's more fun when you watch content creators and you're actually seeing the kind of person that they actually are. But I don't think that's something that you can. I don't think that it's something that you can expect 100%. And even if, somebody can give you an opinion on a certain subject and it has nothing to do with how they see the entire world, it's just how they see that subject.
See, I think what Jimmy Dean says right here is exactly hits it on the head, right? I think the problem that you have these days is that people will take whatever you say, right? And if they have a certain worldview, they'll either love it or they'll hate it. They won't be able to digest this individually and kind of like, okay, let me mull this over. And the reason I bring up that whole, like, one of the idiots saying, one of the idiots saying like, oh, it sounds like a school shooter. First off, listen, no, I'm not going to shoot up a place or a school. Like, I'm a little bit more classy than that. I target theaters.
I think you've been pretty adamant about the mass shooters that we've covered on this channel.
Yeah. No, all jokes aside, like, absolutely. I've condemned them. I've roasted them. I've said they're like, I've said a lot of harsh things.
Yeah.
And it's just, I do kind of think that's funny,
though. I've been more understanding of them than you.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'm one of those people like, yo, why don't we just put a bullet in the back of their head and call it a day? And you're a little bit more yeah, oh, Jesus Christ. They're a little bit more sympathetic. And, I think it's interesting because I think with the gun debate, right, and that's what a lot of that is based on.
Yeah.
People get so passionate regardless either side, where they just, like, instead of, like, thinking rationally about a situation and be able to digest it, they're just like, no, you're just a school shooter. Yeah. Like, if I'm not for completely abolishing our rights to bear arms.
Right.
And kind of going further into this conversation, right, about how I think some people will misinterpret our personality or just who we are as people, just based on some stances we have is, like, I'll even go to you, right? So, like, you were on the show Black Power and Sometimes Happen Magic Hour, and, like, one of those things that happened with that show is, like, you would have more of a left slant. Well, you would have more of a central stance than your co-host. Am I off base there by saying that?
Well, compared to him, like, yeah, I'm all right.
So, like, my thing is, a lot of it comes down to the interpretation.
Jeff doesn't live in New York. I know that lives in New York.
Yeah, I don't live in New York. That's disgusting. I would rather, like, I'm not going to say it.
If I win the Mega Millions, he's moving to New York.
Nah, B. Listen, I'll live homeless. I'll live homeless outside of Shaq instead of live in New York. But no, like, it just, people will take
homeless outside of Shaquille O'Neal's house. That's oddly specific.
Like, people will take a misinterpretation of your point and try to justify, just so they can justify their stance. And the one thing that we kind of made this platform, right, is like, okay, like, let's make it a dialogue. We're not always going to agree on things, right? There's some things we agree on, some things we do not agree on.
It does get in the middle of our, like, creation process, because sometimes the frustration rises and just like, damn, don't even want, like, to make content sometimes, right? I mean, when me and you disagree, I try to be respectful, but it's frustrating, right?
Yeah, to a degree, it's definitely frustrating, but I think having different perspectives, different worldviews, different opinions, exposing yourself to it, it actually allows you to, depending on how you are, either you'll digest that information, look into it, see how correct they are, and maybe you will form a new opinion, or maybe it will give you more ammunition that you can stand on your own to kind of like learn how to debate or to have even just a friendly conversation regarding it. I think a lot of the topics we cover, it's not necessarily always black and white. Now, I have my feelings. You have your feelings on certain subjects.
I know you have your feelings on black and white.
I mean, absolutely. So, hey, and I will say this. It is kind of fucking weird. In a video where I condemned that Buffalo shooting, there was a dislike. So, like, what are y'all motherfuckers? Y'all motherfuckers
all
are crazy.
The weird things we say on this channel, and one of the few videos that we get a dislike on is
like that one dude that watched. Like, I can't believe this. How is he not defending it? He's a white man going in there. He should say, like, what? Like, who dislikes that video? I literally said this dude is a piece of garbage and should be like thrown underneath the prison. It's someone just like that. Oh shit, it looks black and white to me. That's facts. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, absolutely kind of crazy with how some people will take the perception and
and regardless, run with it, man.
Regardless, even if you're saying things that make sense, they're like, nah, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy is facts.
I mean, for me, like, I like that people have their own opinions, but I think that some opinions are more dangerous than others. You know, if you're gonna put a label on somebody or make a comparison to some of the worst in our society, unless you have like concrete proof, that's probably something that you should keep to yourself.
Absolutely, bro.
Or reevaluate your thinking. I think that there's a lot of wild opinions out there, and everybody has their right to an opinion. You know, I'm going to fight to the death, even that opinion. I'm going to fight to the death for somebody else to have that opinion. But I think that when you let it out into the air, it's just, I'm just like,
this is kind of wild, bro.
Yeah, I can't. Wild. Yeah, I can't. I just can't.
So,
certain things, I'm just like, nah, we can't do that.
So, I'm gonna say this because it kind of happened like a day or two ago. So, like, let's just talk about it, right? Clinks, you know what you look like? Someone that should be editing. That's what you should be doing. Get to it. All jokes aside, like, the one thing that happened recently, right? So Joe Biden got COVID, right? And he made some interesting statements, right? That, like, Trump got COVID and he had to get, like, put to a hospital, and he had COVID, and that, man, I know this isn't YouTube friendly now, just thinking about this, but whatever. What did you think about that statement? Did you hear about that? You read that? So, like, essentially, Biden
I didn't know
said,
he was still able to speak. So,
no, I mean facts. But I think he essentially said, and I'm paraphrasing here, that I'm so great because of the vaccines, I didn't need to get hospitalized. Where Trump, when he had it, he had to get hospitalized.
Didn't he get vaccinated? Didn't Trump get vaccinated?
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but I believe so. And it was such a weird, like a pissing contest of like
lotion in the basket.
Yeah.
Clinks.
It was such a weird statement, dog, because it was like you're comparing your COVID when
it's not Trump, even the same strain.
Like when Trump had it, it was when people were getting ethered, right? Like when Biden had it, it was people were calling out for erectile dysfunction. Like there is some levels to this shit, bro. There's some levels to this shit, and I think, I mean, listen.
And why does he have to talk about Trump? He's not in office anymore.
Well, that's where a lot of these politicians, that's the one thing I say about Democrats. They say Republicans are obsessed with Trump, but I think Democrats are obsessed with Trump. Like, let's move on, focus on the future, and like actually address hey,
people
Biden,
are afraid he's going to run again.
I mean, he might run again. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, and I wouldn't be surprised if he won. But I don't know, man. Like the selection of president, like Biden's been awful in a lot of ways, but.
I heard that I think that they're talking about trying to bring up another Democrat to run instead of him going for re-election.
Oh, Kamala Harris, like she's running the country right now. Like
I don't think anybody would vote for her, man.
Listen, that is the American dream, right? Kamala Harris. Oh, she sucked her way to the top. I gotta respect it. You know what I mean?
Then why not just hire Stormy Daniels for the job,
bro? I'm not saying we shouldn't. Like at the same point, like yeah, no, it was just absolutely wild. Like with the whole Trump thing, I was like, yo, like, can we just get over Trump and talk about like why gas prices are so much?
But the thing is, he's trying really hard to stay in the spotlight. He's trying really, really hard.
Yeah.
And gas prices are coming down too. Thank goodness.
I hate to tell you, that's not gonna. Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're coming down because they're artificially trying to bump them down. We'll see.
No.
The
thing is that the prices were artificially risen in the first place, but now OPEC is now getting into they're producing more oil, and there's more oil production here in the United States as well. Plus, in addition, you're also getting they've been talking about a gas tax holiday nationally. And many states have institutionalized a gas tax holiday.
Well, like the problem that kind of comes down to, right? And we can just switch gears here. Is like, for example, like the federal, like people talk about our oil production, right? They say like, oh, well, you know, we can just turn it back on. Like when you cap those pipelines, that takes months to like get them back up. And I think the biggest problem is that Biden complained about like the whole, oh, well, oil companies stopped drilling oil or something like on federal land. And I'm like, yeah, numbnuts, you're the asshole that stopped it. Like you're the one who made in the first day in office, he stopped all production. And it's like, you know, I don't want to make this a political show, but I'll just say this, like with the baby food shortage, the oil's like issues and prices, it's like he has caused a lot of these issues, but he's not willing to own it. Now, mind you, no politician's ever really going to own it. They're just going to always pass the buck. But I just hate like the disingenuous like narrative that's being like, oh, like he saved the world. I'm like, no, he didn't.
Well, the thing is, Biden and Trump and Obama and Bush, none of them are responsible for gas prices. A lot of people don't seem to understand that everything really blew up when Russia invaded Ukraine. And that caused the speculation to go crazy because we didn't know how that war was going to turn out. We didn't know how long that war was going to last. And a lot of people were predicting that could have been our introduction into World War III, especially if the United States got too close to joining that war in support of Ukraine, which is why they had to go through so many different, different hoops of flame to be able to get material over to Ukraine to help them fight against Russia. It could not be a direct arms sales or a direct gifting of arms from the United States to Ukraine, because then that would have been a declaration of war to Russia, and then China gets involved, and then we all die.
I think traditionalists,
and this is also true too. A lot of these, a lot of them are holding down production so they could drive the prices higher.
Yeah, but I don't think people understand on the U.S. end of things. They essentially stopped all production.
They didn't stop all production here in the United States. They just didn't allow them to open up new drilling areas on federal lands. They still had the offshore drilling. They even still had the stuff going on in Alaska. They did not kill all oil production. They didn't
stop new, right? But the problem with the oil
stuff from going in. Yeah.
The problem with oil drilling is, and mind you, because of this recent market where it was way more, they needed to go out there. They stopped drilling in a lot of these, and they prevented fracking, so we had less production.
The reason why the drilling stopped wasn't because of the Biden administration. It was the onset of the Rona. So let me take you back to when the Rona first started. When the Rona first started, and they didn't want to do the lockdowns, and they were forced to start doing the lockdowns, the oil prices, the oil future contracts went into the negative. Thank you, Seditious. I'm about to go here. So the thing is, like when they went into the negative, people were speculating that maybe they would pay us to take the gas. Obviously, that would never happen because you have a base level of fees, federal gas taxes, and state gas taxes. There's no way you would go to the pump and then get gas for 3 cents a gallon. It was never going to happen, right?
No.
But the thing is, because demand went essentially to zero around the world all at the same time, and then you also had like the moratorium with employment. They said only essential workers and things like that. Not only did they stop producing oil, but they also stopped producing the materials that are used in maintaining the oil rigs. And then when we had the part shortages around the world, iron and copper and all this other stuff, if you can't get those things back up and running, plus, the oil companies don't want to take a bath. If oil future contracts go into the negative, they are going to lay off a bunch of their oil workers. What do you think those oil workers did? They got on unemployment, and then they went and got new job skills to do other things because they could not rely on the oil work. So when they tried to get it back going again, we can't find new workers. And it's like, well, how about you pay them more?
So what you're wrong is, and obviously I have to correct this. The oil industry always goes ups and downs, ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
It's always ups and flows. So there's always going to be layoffs. Like in shipyards, for example, there's always layoffs in winter because there's less material, there's less vessels being made. That's just usually how it goes.
Right.
So there is some truth to what you were saying. Definitely, COVID definitely hurt the gas prices because nobody was going anywhere.
Right. And that's why the oil future contracts went into the negative. But if you're an oil producer, are you going to stay in the negative?
No.
You're going to lay off everybody so you can at least keep afloat.
Yes, but that is traditionally how things have always worked. Like oil rigs being laid up down in Texas, that is something that happens like relatively frequently. Like it happens every few years.
Oil future go into the negative?
No, well, depending on like
extreme.
economic war. Yeah, no, it was extreme. I'm not saying that's the regularity there, but I'm saying it definitely exasperated the situation where, and I don't necessarily blame oil companies for essentially jarring up the price when you had an administration not looking like, okay, like we want to federally drill here so we can produce more product, and we're not going to allow it. And like, I don't want to go into this whole conversation.
But that was 2021. The thing is, the oil future contracts went into the negative in 2020 during Trump's administration. And it wasn't because of anything Trump wanted to do. It was that we had a worldwide fucking pandemic where 2% of people with the original strain, 2% of people, 2 out of every 100 persons that got infected died at the very beginning. So people, they're like, oh my God, this is going to be disease X. Oh my God. And then all futures went into the negative. That was all on Trump's time. It wasn't Trump's fault though.
No. Yeah, we can both kind of agree that the pandemic definitely hurt that. What I'm saying is that some of the actions that have taken by this current administration to not export and become an independent, like, the one thing I have a problem with us as a nation right now is we're just an importer. We don't export.
Yeah, that's a problem. We don't make anything. No country wants to pay anybody to do anything.
So, like, you know that we have possibility to be the biggest LNG producer in the world? Like, we have
but it's still, but that's still like the number 3 fossil fuel. But yeah, you'd be number one.
Like, but in India, right, that's where they're going, right? They're going with LNG. And I'll have to pull up the charter for you, but I don't have it off the top of my head right now. But like essentially, we are producing so much right now at a loss. We're giving it away for free. Like that's how much we're producing because we need to get rid of it, and we're just you can only so much you can store. Any sense. That's exactly, but we're kind of at a loss right now.
Now, if you're saying that like the gas prices are high because we weren't able to drill, but you're saying that we have all of this inventory.
We do, yes.
Then the gas prices shouldn't be so high if we have so much inventory.
Because we with the natural gas that we're kind of going shipping it over to India, and I'm going to definitely verify this because this was something that I read the charter.
So. But this was a tack on. This was a tack on to the situation. This is not where it started.
But we're essentially giving away all these goods that we have for free at India at a cheap price because we locked into them with a contract. Like, we are giving India their power and essentially paying for it. It's actually kind of a joke.
So it's a little weird.
It is a little weird, but I'll have to pull up all that article and I'll send it to you. We were just doing this shit off the cuff, so I don't have that in front of me.
Yeah.
So
Your camera hates you right now.
I don't. Whatever.
You know what? Put your hand up to the camera to force it to focus, and then put your hand away. Yeah, it's better. It's better. Bomb Boone is up in here. Bomb Boone is up in here. Seditionalist says the light natural gas isn't pure enough for U.S. or EU markets. The EU is now investing heavily in building LNG refineries to import U.S. gas.
Well, and the problem that we had with the LNG shit is, and by the way, it's a 4K camera that sucks, so my bad. But it's fucking trash.
Wait a minute. Check your settings, because I think that before, when you were on the ship, you set yours to 720p.
It's 1080p.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 1080p. It's just like fuck my life.
Okay.
But when it kind of comes down to it, with LNG also got fearmongered quite a bit too, because you had people like, especially after 9/11, they got all these big containers, these big LNG vessels coming in because they look like big bubbles. If people just shoot a rifle through it, it's gonna make a big bomb. And I'm like, that's not how that works. That's not how that works. Like, you have idiot. Like, if you shoot it, it's just gonna spill. You're literally like, it's just. But like, the problem is you have an uninformed populace that have these different things. Like, we used to have LNG ports right out in Boston, right out in New York, like right off the coast of Maine. Like, we used to have so much shit that we could have done, and we went away from it because, like, I don't even know why. Just very, very stupid population. Yeah.
Ellen, is not a light machine gun. We're talking about light natural gas.
Yeah, listen.
LNG. LNG. He's played too much Call of Duty. Forgive him.
I mean, hopefully you equip that sleight of hand pro. But
yeah, especially with them LMGs, man. What the fuck?
Yo, fucking wow. So, shit. You know what? We talk about oil. We talk about gas. You want to talk about that situation that happened in Indiana? The one where, like, we haven't really had a show on that.
I think his name is Elijah. You want to talk about some dude that's got some gas?
Yo, that dude's got the
80% from 120 feet on a moving target.
Bruh, that man has the appropriate name, Dickens. He's packing heat because it's crazy, bro.
Why do you keep saying Dickens? It's actually just Dicken. It's just one Dicken.
It sounds less LGBT friendly if I say it the other way, but I don't know. But I can't. Elijah Dicken, right? That dude, how he handled that shooting is insane to me. Like, the grouping. What did you say? 8 out of 10? Like, you got 80%
on a moving target at 40 yards. With a pistol.
Did you see what happened on The View? And, like, I'm gonna actually link it to you if I can find it. But there, that one lady.
Where is his hero tour at? That's what I want to know. Where's his hero tour at? Well, if you're gonna give one to Kyle Rittenhouse, you need to give one to this guy.
But did you so on The View, you had somebody say, one of those co-hosts, and I don't know any other names really besides like Whoopi Goldberg,
Joy Behar,
Joy Behar or some stuff. One of them was like,
I'm pretty sure she's a Joy.
It was illegal for him to have that gun, and he should be in jail or something like that. And I'm like, bro, he just stopped.
How about we send you to that? How about we go back? We put you in a time machine, send you to that mall, and send him in there with no gun, and see how you like that.
It's like, can we just, for the love of fucking God, just say, hey, that dude did what he had to do, did a great thing for us. And really was a hero in that situation. I don't understand these people that in a situation where that whole thing is, yes, a guy that is, carrying a weapon can protect other civilians. I mean, I don't think that's super crazy.
And she probably doesn't know the gun laws in Indiana.
It's constitutional carry. Like, what the fuck? How is that difficult to understand? It's constitutional carry.
Maybe she would have been happier. Maybe she could have gotten that little sand trap down below to be a little bit more lubricated if 40 people would have been shot to death instead of just 3.
I mean,
Maybe she would have liked that because the guy that did the shooting, the mass shooting, that was illegal for him to be doing that.
Absolutely. Like, this guy went out of his means and out of his way to destroy other people's lives. Yeah. And I get it. Like, liberals do not like guns in any way, shape, or form.
I'm a liberal, and I like guns.
You're unfortunately a liberal.
Even my co-host on Black Power Magic Hour. The first time I ever went shooting, it was me and him that went to the gun range shooting. He shoots a lot.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
Yeah, there's a great shooting? Gun range. Yeah, the first time I ever went shooting, I went with him.
So does he go shooting when you're supposed to be doing that show, or does he go shooting in different times? I mean, like, that's kind of.
But he's pretty good. He's pretty good with a rifle. I suck with rifles. I'm better with pistols. Mrs. Evil, she's good with a rifle.
That's crazy, man. We should go shooting sometime, honestly. Like, and apparently,
yo, dude, can you imagine the kind of fucking content we can get?
I mean, yeah, that'd be fun.
There's a great place in New Jersey called Gun for Hire. That's normally where we go.
I mean, I think that. Jesus Christ. Whoopi got her dreads a little too tight at some. Yeah, like,
she's pretty based, man. When they were talking about like women assaulting men, she's like, no. No. If a woman goes and assaults a man, get prepared to get knocked the fuck out. That's what Whoopi sits with that.
In some circumstances, but in others, she's just kind of very little too, like,
I think she's pretty based.
But I think, well, you're a leftist, so you think based is like kind of crazy. But I think that,
what kind of leftist black woman is like equal rights and equal lefts? Like, come on, man. Let's be real about that. Okay?
Yeah, you're right. But I think, like, quite frankly, when it kind of comes down to it, is that I think we should be kind of celebrating that dude because he did what most people do not have the courage. You have to understand, like, you are literally knowing what you're doing is taking a human life at that point, and that's just a dude that want to go to the fucking, like, mall to, like, get
chill.
Just to chill. Like, he didn't wake up that day and wanted to do it, and that's the problem. That's what I get so annoyed with some liberals when I have gun to like, oh, well, what do you need it for? What do you need it for? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe I just like to go to the range to shoot, or maybe I just like to have something for protection.
Or maybe if someone's pointing a gun at me, I can't get on my phone and call the police.
Yeah. And that's another thing for a side that absolutely hates the police. You want to only have the police have the guns. It's
the police show. I mean, these people don't watch movies, Captain. In every movie, when do the cops show up?
Way after, man. Like 10 minutes later. After the fact, everything's done.
They had some civilian turn into the last action hero, save everybody, and then the police and the fire department show up after, and then give you a blanket for you to sit on the back of after you take a bullet in the shoulder.
I mean, if, like, Dick's Sporting is Good was smart, they'd be like our Hunter of the Year, and they give him, like, that award. So, like, I think, like, quite frankly, that, like, or Bass Out, what's that called? Bass Pro Shops?
That dude is a better shooter than most police officers. Let's just be frank about that.
Yeah, but most police officers don't get the training they should, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of them don't get a lot of range time in like they're supposed to.
They should.
And when they do, they're using black men as targets. Did you see that?
Jesus
Did you see that recently? Like, I think it was in like Illinois somewhere, or Indiana or Illinois. They apologized. They were using black men as targets at the range.
No, I didn't see this. What?
Yeah, this was. Let me find it because
that sounds pretty wild. Like, that sounds like a parody, like, to me. Like, that doesn't.
No, actually, it's actually fairly common that this has happened.
I mean, do you mean like the black actual targets, like where it's like a black outline? Like, I know about that.
I said police using, and the fourth option was black targets. I just typed in police using. It was Michigan. Let me pull this up for you. This was July 4th, so there was definitely some fireworks here.
I mean, like, but that's the thing is, like, was it black target on You gotta share this because I have no idea.
Yeah, I got you.
What is this?
Michigan police apologize. Will conduct review after images of black men used for target practice.
Oh, so like an actual image? That's wild.
A police chief in Michigan has apologized after photos revealed his department was using targets with images of black men for shooting practice. Whew. Jeff King, the chief of Farmington Hills, that sounds like where you go to get lynched. Police department said at a city council meeting late last month that the department is conducting a legal review of the matter. King says he takes responsibility for how the training was conducted and apologized to the community, the department, and the city council. He said one of the biggest focuses for training is exposure to people based on certain situations and not what they look like. We have a diverse community, and we have a policy for only shooting at the black ones.
Whoa, wait a minute. Is there images of these targets? Like, is there like?
I mean, it would be too inflammatory. I mean, that would feed the anti-police.
Dude,
thing.
but that's crazy, bro. Like, listen. Police officers, police people that run that shit. Y'all already run an uphill battle. You know, I believe in having a good law enforcement, but like don't make it this easy to be roasting you. Like that's true. It's a
little too much.
Was that somebody like last day of retirement being like, you know what, I'm gonna leak this shit?
No, they said it was part of training.
Damn. I mean, I have no comment. That's crazy.
What's this right here? Oh, this is the same one. It was like using only black men for target practice. That's even worse.
That's absolutely wild if true.
Oh my God, Farmington Hills Police. Look, oh my God. This is, oh my God, this is crazy. Farmington Hills, Michigan, because, he says the Hill is not a reliable source. I mean, it was like fucking 9 articles. I just picked one. Days after coming under fire for use of shooting targets depicting black men, a local police force is again being questioned, this time over data involving traffic stops. Drivers 7 Action News talked to say they are extremely troubled by recent statistics involving police traffic stops at Farmington Hills. African-American men are being targeted for no particular reason, one driver expressing outrage said. According to the city statistics for 2022, the city's population is 18.2% African-American. The percentages of citations given to African-American drivers are more than double at 40.37% or 813 total.
Okay, so I mean,
that's definitely that's too much.
I mean, listen, I don't want to play devil's advocate here, but I'm gonna have to. But I do. So like, my thing is this: I mean, what's the population breakdown? Is it like a majority black area? Is it majority white area?
It's 18.2%. 18.2% African American, but they get 40.37% of the tickets. Further down here in the article, it says that whites make up 59.1% of the city, but only get 50.82% or 51% of the citations. It says arrest records, latest numbers, are about 58% of people arrested in our city are African Americans. They only make up less than 1 in 5, but they make up 3 out of every 5 that are arrested. And the thing is, when you look at crime statistics everywhere, people commit crime at the same rates. It's just that some people are more scrutinized and other people are less scrutinized. Like, for instance, like here in New York City, it was a big thing when they were talking about the whole stop and frisk thing. They were saying that blacks and whites in New York City use marijuana at the same rates, but black people are stopped 90% of the time. even though they use drugs at the same rate. So, this is something that even the CDC has admitted to. The FBI and their crime statistics, they've admitted to the same thing. They've been going after, police departments in various cities. Have you seen We Own the Streets yet?
No.
You're fucking up, man. Have you watched The Wire?
No.
Oh my God, you're fucking up. You're fucking up big time, man.
I'll watch shit like years after the fact. That's just me. I'm not one of those people that.
The Wire came out 20 years ago.
Did it? Well, it's gonna be 30. So listen, I think when it kind of comes down to these statistics, obviously the Target thing's not a good look. I gotta address
Jimmy Dean. Jimmy Dean, I tried not to use the black websites like the Grio or the Root specifically because I did not want a bias. So I just chose the Hill, which is supposed to be racially neutral. That's why I chose that one. If you look at most of the articles that were there were black, black facing articles. So that's why I chose the Hills to be less racially charged with the article that I chose. But anyway,
okay. So as I was rudely cut off, I have to really think about what the fuck I was gonna just say. Oh, so like I get where the numbers can lie. Definitely the perception of that, especially with the black targets and stuff like that, looks awful. Or like black men being put as targets. Quite frankly, some of it I don't. Is it all race? Is it all racist, or is there other underlying issues to these arrests?
Well, the thing is, some of the things is that a lot of people think that racism is generally overt. A lot of it is covert. A lot of the racial biases that that we all exhibit. I don't think that we're trying to be biased when we are biased. Like if you see a hot chick, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, are you the guy that says you don't really like ginger chicks?
No, I don't like them.
Yeah, because I know somebody else that just like, I'm not really into gingers like that. I'm like, really? Right? Me, when I see a ginger chick, I know I'm going to be biased towards her, but it's not active. It's just like I see, right? Mm. If I see a really pretty fit Asian woman, I'm just going to go, whoa. If I see an overweight neck snapper type of woman, we're not going to mention the color, I'm repulsed. It's just what it is, right? For some people, they see a certain person and their fear automatically goes up, right? From what I'm hearing from people that are visiting the South, a lot of it is covert because overtly, a lot of the people that are there are pretty friendly, but then they don't, they're not so friendly, when you're not around.
Well, right? Actually, so this is actually funny. I'm not gonna say names, but I have somebody that I know that lived down south, right? And he says that black people themselves don't want black people to move in the areas.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's racism too.
It's kind of wild because they're like, we don't want crime. I'm like, yo, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? You know the police brutality numbers per capita. A black officer is more likely to use excessive force against a black suspect than a white officer.
So, speaking about, fuck it, let's just make it this show. Speaking about the black officer beating up a black man. So the Callaway incident, right? Brandon Callaway. I made a video.
Was his last name Callaway? I know his first name was Brandon.
Yeah, I think it was Callaway. I'll double check.
You made a video on your channel about it.
Yeah, and you were kind of, you saw where I was coming from.
Yeah, we had a discussion. I see where you're coming from. Yeah.
Screaming at me, saying that white people don't matter. He's like, white people don't matter. Go. I was just crying, but no, like all jokes aside, he called me. We had to talk about it. Yeah, Brandon Callaway. Okay. Well, I have to walk here for a minute because it's just my hip. Before I get up, I'll say this: is that what are your thoughts on the video? And what are your thoughts overall regarding the situation?
All right, yeah. So yeah, we're gonna give Captain a little bit of a break.
I can hear you on the headphones. So
yeah, he's got the fractured hip, y'all. For those that don't know. Yeah, so there's a situation where a man, I guess he was actually going to be pulled over for speeding. I know that in Captain Paul's video, he said something about blowing a stop sign. He was caught speeding. I think he was doing like 30 something, like in the mid 30s in a 20 something zone. And the cop goes to pull him over and he doesn't stop. He drives to his house and then runs into his house, right? The police break into his house and they subdue him. From what I understand, they said the officer was in there, right? But no, they said that the officers used excessive force. Okay. And so Captain Paul's point was that if you just stop and you take the ticket and then you move on with your life, you running from the cops is stupid, which I agree with. From a rational standpoint, that is 100% correct. Him running into his home, he might have been incorrect about, the cops being able to follow him into his home. He might have been incorrect about that legally. So the cops went in there. They might have had a legal right to do what they did to go in there and get him. From the police officer standpoint, one of the things that Paul and I did not talk about during our phone conversation yesterday is that the police might have had more fear, because if he's running into his house, you don't know if he has a weapon in his house. Yep. So they might have had to go a little bit. They might have had to go a little bit harder, just because they thought that maybe that's what he was running into the house for, right? Mm-hmm. But where I was trying to help Paul to understand, because it's not like saying that what the officer did was right. I'm not saying that what the motorist did was right or wrong in either. What I was trying to explain to Paul was just the human biology of it that goes beyond. We're talking about the irrational, not the rational, right? So, just kind of talking about, how people react to extreme stress. People are going to fight, freeze, or flight, right? We know we hear fight or flight, but some people do neither. They freeze. In this case, the guy chose the flight option. Now, he didn't choose the option. His nervous system chose the option. Like, he thought that his life was in danger. And he just did whatever he thought that, he saw danger, he ran from it. And so I think that I think that the real issue, Paul looks at it and says, just take the ticket and that's it, right? And yeah, I totally agree that, the guy that's speeding, normally when guys have contraband on them, they try to avoid exceeding the speed limit so that they don't get pulled over, so they get to their destination with the contraband. But once you're already getting lit up, if you try to run, you're going to alert their suspicions even more than before. So I just think that what he did from a societal standpoint was not smart. From the letter of the law, he broke the law a bunch of different ways: evading arrest, failing to stop, speeding, whatever it is, right? Mm-hmm. But this is not to make an excuse for him. It's to help people understand why these things happen. And if you get a better understanding of why these things happen, then maybe we can put a stop to it.
Well, and I can understand. I think you're obviously everyone should be sympathetic to someone getting unjustly killed, right? The problem I had with this situation is, right, he didn't have a gun on him, right? No gun. No contraband, right? Nothing illegal. You ran you ran a red light, you were speeding 12 over, but that's what it was reported.
Yeah, it was something like that. It was 12 over.
Yeah, it was 12 over. What I read in the report was He ran through a stop sign. Cops lit him up. Instead of stopping, he kept going 12 over. And then he stopped at his place, ran into his house. And I'm like, the smart thing would have been like, oh, well, shit. Got a ticket. Whatever. Make this a whole 20-minute circumstance. And I'm not getting my ass beat. While instead, he took the option B, which I think was the stupid one. I'm going to try to evade arrest, get out of my car, run to my household, thinking I have a safe doctrine, which is not how that works in Tennessee, and get my ass beat. And it's like, I hate to say it this way, but like sometimes people just deserve to get their ass beat for stupidity. Because I'm like, come on. Like, why would you be running into your place and not realizing because you are essentially in the process of a crime, a cop, like, there is no need for a warrant. Like, that is something that is taught by some, like, those YouTube anti-cop people, right? The police watchers. That's in a lot of states, right? If you are in the process of committing crime, if you go into your house, it's you don't need a warrant. They can chase your ass in there and pull you out. You know what I mean? And it's just kind of like my process. This all could have been avoided. Yo, just pull over, do the ticket, call it a day. Just wipe with it. And I think a lot of this comes down to media over sensationalizing and making everyone so fearful. So like what I think you have now is a powder keg, right? To the point of you saying where black men feel, or black people in general feel, that they will die on each traffic stop. And mind you, there are some police, I'll agree with you, there are some police headquarters and districts that should be shut down for immoral practices and just bigotry flat out. But now you have this powder keg where now everyone's fearful of one another, right? The black people are now afraid of the cops. The cops are now afraid of black people because of some of the violent actions where you have people going out there just murdering people. And even just not just black, any race. I have noticed, like, I got pulled over for like a bad taillight, and it's like cops are so much more on edge now than ever before, and it's crazy. I feel like it leads to a lot of these situations where I feel like if cooler heads prevail, he just pulls over, deals with it in that way. Like, he didn't have a gun on him, didn't have anything crazy, like nothing was going to happen, at least in my opinion. I don't think anything would have happened to him.
I mean, but the thing is, this is why I think it's so important for us to have these conversations, because I totally 1,000,000% understand where you're coming from when you say the things that you say, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you got to understand that before the Rona, if a officer died in a line of duty, 71% of the time, it came at the hands of violent means from a white male. So that does not count violent means from white females. It doesn't count accidents, like, the guy does a traffic stop and accidentally gets hit by a car. We're talking about all officers killed in the line of duty, 71% of them by violent means by white men, right?
Mm.
So the thing is that I think that it is something where more of the time black people are being brutalized and or killed by the police because the police are more afraid of them. So remember we were talking about that covert racism before, right? Where it's not like completely obvious that that person has a racial bias or something like that. It's not completely obvious, right?
Right.
But it's something that it's just kind of like if you see a black guy with a hoodie walking behind you, you're gonna be, you're gonna be very. I think you're gonna be very cognizant of their presence. I mean, even me when I'm walking the street, there are certain people of certain sizes or a certain gender or a certain color where my radar is a little bit more potent than, like, I'm gonna be if there's a 6'5" black guy with a hoodie on walking behind me, I'm gonna be more vigilant than if it's a 4'11" Asian woman walking behind me.
No, that's fair.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's fair, right?
Yeah,
but the thing is, I think that, like, it's saying, well, the media is over sensationalizing thing, but then the FBI says that the use of force and the use of excessive force is more likely to be used on a black person than a white person, even though a white person is more likely to harm the officer by the statistics, just by the cold numbers, right? Mm-hmm. Then you're saying, well, the media is causing a powder keg, but it's like, no, the powder keg got filled up by the kind of fear that the officers have that lead them to engage in these activities where they don't really look at the white men as a threat when they go to stop them the same way. So that's how it got started. So now the media comments on every single time a black person is put in that situation. And then it's like, well, it's the media, but it's like, no, check the statistics. The per capita, it's just not, it's not, the numbers don't match. Like when we saw the whole thing with the people in Farmington or whatever, like 18% of the population, but getting almost 60% of the tickets, right? Like, most people break the same laws every day. So
what? And this is going to kind of come out as a difficult conversation, but I'm willing to have it.
That's what we're here. Yeah, we're here for it. Yeah.
So what? I feel like what's the race that hates the cops the most? Obviously, black people, correct? I think that would be fair to say.
Black people are way more conservative, socially conservative than you think.
But we're growing up.
I think criminals hate the police more than anybody.
Well, they should, but I think at the core of the issue, I think a lot of this comes down to, Jimmy Dean said in a comment, I agree with it, it isn't just fearfulness. He put it in a better way. It's a lack of respect.
Lack of respect is when they attack the cops. Can I show you a video? I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to show you a lack of respect for police. I looked at this shit. I'm like, this kid is stupid as fuck. Hold on a second. When you see this, you'll be like, okay, this is disrespect for police. Because when you run from the police for your life at top speed, that's not disrespect.
But I think it kind of comes down to is I think this generation, especially this the one we were in and younger, have become more defiant and more of a, I would say belligerent when it comes to interactions with officers.
All right,
I'm saying that as a white person. I've seen white people like go absolutely off on cops where it's to the point it's like, Jesus Christ.
But the thing is, like, I've seen like white people point guns at cops and they do everything they can to disarm them without shooting them. It is insane.
I mean, I haven't really seen that, but like I've seen guys that point guns at cops regardless of race and they get taken down. And
all right, check this shit out.
A new Chevy
fucking commercials. Fuck your open roads.
Fuck your open roads. Aren't you a liberal? Aren't you about all open roads and beautiful land?
The mayor's saying that dealing with crime in this city is an uphill battle, but there is no way that he is going to surrender.
I believe that Albany should consider coming and revisiting some of the violence we're seeing of repeated offenders.
Mayor Adams once again asking for help from Albany and now calling on the state legislature to hold an emergency session to examine the state's bail laws and deal with the city's crime crisis. The call coming after this video surfaced of two 16-year-olds brutally brawling with two NYPD officers in the subway at 125th Street in Lexington Avenue in East Harlem. Police say the teenage boy flew into a rage after the officers.
I don't know how this cop got hit tough like this. And he's got him in a head and arm choke too. Come on, guy, you gotta get. Oh shit! He took that forearm to the face.
Catch, release, repeat.
Like, you guys gotta understand. Like,
okay, all right. So
I don't have any. I don't feel any remorse or sympathy for the kid because it looked like he took a forearm to the face.
Yeah.
I don't. The thing is, and this is a common misconception of black people. 98, 99% of black people, when a criminal gets their just due, they're not protesting. They're not like, free my nigga. They ain't doing none of that. They're like, well, that's what the fuck he gets. That's the majority. That is the vast majority of black people. Like, if black people watch that shit, they're like, hey, he got what he got. Even at age 16.
So this is also some Jimmy Dean said that is definitely not appropriate, but I definitely agree with. I don't think a woman has any place on the beat.
But she wasn't the one getting thrown around. It was the grown-ass man.
Wait. Like I said,
16-year-old.
Like I said,
size.
Like I said, a woman has no place on the beat. There was 2 female officers that day, and one just seemed to be getting hip tossed. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But like, no. But like,
and the chick, the ignorant chick, gets involved, and she's trying to hit that is a lack of respect for officers. When you see these guys running at speeds that they haven't run since high school track away from the cops, that's a little bit too much respect. That is respect for their ability to end your life on a whim.
So we're gonna have to disagree, because man, like, you don't watch them because you can't tolerate it, and I understand for what reasons. But I watch a lot of these police interactions and even police shootings that turn out to be justified. The belligerent behavior.
I'm not talking about the justified ones. Right,
but like, we're talking as if all of these happen are unjustified.
That's not what I said. That is not what I said, and I'm not insinuating that. I'm telling you that guy remembers Philando Castile and all the other unarmed black guys who were not belligerent. He remembers what happened to them. It is not a given as a black man that you're going to get pulled over and that's just going to be it. You're going to get a ticket and walk away. That is not a given for a black man. It's not a given.
I'm not saying you're saying that, but with kind of the tone we've been going along, I watch all these breakdowns, and mind you, the Fernando Castile, I watched that one. Yeah. That was disgusting. So like,
but that's the stuff that people remember when they choose to run.
Right, and I can understand that, but you also have a media that's pushing that and being like, okay, like, you're gonna die, and that they push that into that narrative.
I think the narrative. I mean, we disagree. The narrative was created by the outsized ratios of who they stop, how they treat the people when they stop them. All of that was before the camera phone.
So. Well, yeah, okay. So, like, when you're kind of coming down to race relations, yes, I do understand why there can be a certain type of connotation for people, like, oh, like, what the fuck, like, this is always happening or something of that nature. Like, the Rodney King was one of the biggest incidents of all time, correct? Started riots in L.A. The one thing I will say is, like, if anything that comes out of this, because, like, we're not going to always see eye to eye on this, right? I think officers overall just need to be trained more. Like, I think officers, it should be a 2 to 4 year program where you get fully invested and you get
they should pay the cops
proper training. Yeah,
they just have a higher. They just have a higher barrier.
If they can afford it. The problem is that I feel like you're getting a lot of cops, and the Castile one you're going to bring up. You get a cop that's scared and nervous. I don't. If you are terrified to go out and do your job, you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, and the thing is, I wanted to actually piggyback on that. So I'll hold this thought, but we're going to talk about the Uvalde thing too.
Okay, so listen, Jimmy, I'm gonna show his. I agree with Jimmy. Like 99% of the time, if you just comply and do what you're supposed to do, it will just stay at that level. But there have been cases where guys have just been awful. And they're just completely untrained, and they jump the gun, like literally. It's absolutely insane.
Right. So I want to show you something, Paul, because when you talk about the sensationalization, I do agree with you, probably 50%. But I want to pull this article back up for you. I just want to pull this up one more time, because I really want you to pay attention to the numbers here, so that you get a better opportunity. Oh, traditionalists, I was going to say this too. You can pay the officers more because you won't need as many of them when you have actual competent officers. But we'll get back to that. But I want to show you something, Paul. Because remember we were talking about this right here.
It's hard. I can barely see.
Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna zoom in. All right. Okay. So remember we were talking about this right here. Mm-hmm. Right. The thing is, nobody speaks for the people. You know, because these people, and this is more to your point, right? This is more to your point. The vast majority of cop interactions do not end in tragedy, which I agree with. Mm-hmm. I'm just trying to explain the irrational response. That's all I'm trying to do here, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not saying that the irrational response is correct. I'm just here to give understanding. That's all I'm here for. Okay, according to the statistics for 2022, this is not Jim Crow 1964 in the Deep South, right? This is happening in the North, in the Midwest, in 2022. The percentage of citations given to African-American drivers is more than double the city's population. And there are people in their city that are just not getting tickets like that. And you cannot tell me that black people speed more. You cannot tell me that they pass stop signs more. It's just that they are more visible when they do it. That's all. So most people break the same laws. So these are where black people, you don't know what happened in these interactions. And this is what I want to get to, right? Mm-hmm. In these 813 interactions, right? Some of these interactions, a black person is driving 10 miles over, and there was a white person driving 18 miles over, but they stopped the black person instead. Were they wrong for stopping the black person? No. But that helps to add to the cynicism.
But I feel like I can kind of understand. I feel we're creating a straw man there, where it's like, oh, there's another white person that was right next door speeding.
What I'm saying is that both races they break the same laws at the same rates, and it's been proven over and over and over again. So when you see these statistical disparities, it is a statistically significant disparity. Mm-hmm. Right? You're getting, your population is only 18%, but of your citations is more than double. The representation is outsized, but they keep showing in study after study that black people and white people break the same laws at the same rates.
Yeah, no, we actually did this on a previous podcast where we broke down the whole statistics where based on percentage base of population, it's like a 1% differential. I think that,
and this is true too. This is true too.
I think it's hard because like
he's an asshole. We need tinted windshields.
It's hard to kind of judge these numbers just on based on like what are the outlying factors, what area, what is this pulled from, like a year, or is this pulled from a couple years?
This is 2022. The numbers I just pulled, 2022.
2022. So like my thing is like if indeed it is due to racial bias, it's a problem we have. And like, listen, I'm not saying it doesn't exist because a good friend of mine, Darren, I think
we talked about this.
Yeah, like he was racially he was like, I would drive the Toyota Camry in Providence. I wouldn't get pulled over.
And they would still investigate him, and he's sitting in the passenger seat.
Like he's like, what did he say? He's like, you okay there, son? It's like, yo, what the fuck? I was like, yeah. I'm fine. But like I've seen it firsthand. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I think it'd be ignorant to say if it doesn't exist.
Can I make a guess? Can I make a guess on your position, and you tell me if I'm far off? Mm-hmm. I think with you, the issue that you have with the problem is that there's some underlying spirit in the way people talk about it that make it seem like it's all intentional and that people are trying to be racist.
Yeah, I think the problem I have, man, this is such a deep topic. I could talk about it for hours. See, like I think some of these biases aren't necessarily intentional. I
agree with you.
I think like when it kind of comes down to it, what we absorb within media, regardless of what we say and think, is going to influence how we think and how we act out in the real world. So like when you have media kind of portraying in like the 90s, early 2000s, even 2010s, like, young black men in a certain manner, of like being like, you know, shooting up place and stuff like that. Like
Oh,
for
that
example,
goes back to the what was that? What's that movie? Shit, what was the name of that movie?
but like
Birth of a Nation.
So like you have places like Chicago, right? Like people bring that up a lot. Like, oh, Chicago this, Chicago that. You had like on YouTube, right? Like the drill scene when that was big, like that was a big thing about people like other rappers murdering other rappers. So when that is the type of media you portray, you're gonna start forming certain biases, whether that's subconsciously or not. I mean, hopefully just like kind of bred out of not intentionality and just more ignorance, but I think the media doesn't help in a lot of these cases is because they make you form certain biases, even if you don't notice it. Mm-hmm. And I think this situation between, you know, black people and the police, there's fault here on both ends. I think the police officers need to be better trained. I mean, generally, when you're an officer, what is it, like a 3 to 6 month course? And then you can actually kind of, or academy, and you can go out there and be an officer. Where I believe, and we've had this discussion off air, I think to be a police officer, it should be at least, at the very, very least, a 2-year to 4-year program, preferably, where you have to have range time. You have to go through the psychology, how to properly, you know, lessen the threat level and talk people down. I mean, there's so much more we could be doing to train officers instead of having like a Castilla case where you have a cop like, oh my God, I was just afraid. I'm like, why? He told you he had a gun, and that he was like a firearm legally carrying. I'm like, why are you so afraid?
And he was giving conflicting. A part of the problem is that he was giving conflicting instructions as well. Omega, you're actually wrong on this. Black cops aren't just as racially biased as white cops. They're more racially biased than white cops, and that's also in the statistics as well. Just so you know.
So, like, my thing is that we kind of have this scenario where you have undertrained cops and young cops going into a situation where, you know, quite frankly, shouldn't be there in the first place. And then you have, and I'm not saying all black people, like I'm not saying all cops, but like you have some black people that will just completely demonize officers. Like you have the all cap, the A cap, like all cops, all cops are bad.
I hear that more from white people than black people, but I get your point.
But like, you know, that type of ilk, and I have my problem for my white brother in on that as well, is that like when you just start like demonizing cops, where you're getting cops just killed, or you're getting cops and you're just being belligerent, it's like it doesn't really accomplish anything. Like I guess this is the biggest problem I have with this case is like this kid's an electrical engineer. I heard a million fucking times the reporting. If he just simply does the thing that he should, comply, goes over, this isn't a thing. But I feel like in society right now, we become so anti-cop, where just even these traffic stops get so out of hand. And I'm not saying there isn't an ugly history with some police departments. I'm not saying that there hasn't been people unjustifiably murdered due to cops. What I am saying is now we're making these mundane things that should just take 20 minutes. Now we're making these big publicities and big fucking events. And unfortunately, it's just, I don't know. I feel like we're getting to this powder keg where, I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go, quite frankly. We're just kind of constantly in this state of fear or anger and mob mentality instead of just being able to, I mean, like, yo, let's just pull over, relax. If I'm not doing anything illegal, I shouldn't have anything to fear. But I can acknowledge that isn't just human beings. That is the cops as well. They have their fault for why people feel the way they do. Rambly as that answer was. All
right. So I'm going to we're going to talk about the amygdala, because I think that maybe you might get an opportunity to understand a little bit better where I'm coming from, because I think that for you, I think that this would actually, this will take the conversation more in the direction that I want to go. So the amygdala is the hub for fear processing in the brain. Mm-hmm. Okay. So the thing is, and one of the things I tried to explain to you yesterday when we were talking on the phone on the subject, to get it out of the whole media this and cops that and black people this, we're just going to break it down to just like how the brain works when it comes to danger, right? So can you think of how far, let me ask you this question. How far back does your most traumatic memory go? That you can, like, when you remember, when you think about it, you remember it like yesterday.
Not to sound weird, but I would have to say, I say 9/11 because I remember that vividly.
How many years ago was that?
I was in 5th grade. Fuck, that was like over 20 years ago.
So the reason that is your amygdala at work. See, the thing is that your brain doesn't really have use for memories that are fun and happy, you know? But look at these. You're talking about the 5th grade, which you were like 10, 11 years old, right?
Something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Omega, his first vivid traumatic memory is at 4, and Jimmy at 6 or 7, right? Mm-hmm. I remember the bad things that happened to me when I was 3. So the thing is that the way that your brain works, your brain is going to remember all the bad things and throw away a lot of the good memories. A lot of the good memories we have, we're a little hazy on, right? You know, we might like swap out one set of facts for another. It gets a little hazy. But when it comes to the really traumatic stuff, your brain is going to hold on to that and the details of what happened, because safe or not safe is the most important thing to your brain. Absolutely the most important thing to your brain. So kind of going into the wow, this is just too much text here.
Yeah, I mean,
but when we're talking about processing fear, right? And this is where we have to give a little grace to both the jumpy police officer with the itchy trigger finger and the black person that wants to run. We have to give them a little bit of grace, both of them in the same way, for this reason, right? When you look at a lot of these officers, because one of the things you were saying was they're not trained enough. I'm going to take it a step further and say that they're trained too much in one really bad area, which is why you need to see We Own the Streets, because they didn't change anything. It was not dramatized at all. They actually took it from the actual recordings of the officers that were caught in the scandal, that were caught in the corruption, and what they did to people in the city of Baltimore, almost all of them black people that they did these things to. The way that they are framing the job when they come out of the academy, they're told by the officers that train them, and they're told by their commanding officers, not that we have to go out there and protect the community and to engage in the community. They're telling them it's us versus them. So every time they train, a lot of these people, a lot of these men that go and women that go into the police departments, right? They go in there with altruistic intentions. Most of them go there to help the community, and they engage with the community. That's what most of them do, right? But then when they actually get there, the higher ups are saying, no, forget all of the civil rights stuff that you learned at the academy. This is how it really happens on the streets, because it's really dangerous here. And 17 years ago, a cop was shot and he almost died. So we rule with an iron fist. So the thing is, like, and you look at the way that they approach the job. They go in there looking to do the right thing, and they come out on the other side jaded. where they're like, well, this is just how it goes because the guy that we arrest today, we'll see him on the streets next week, and the justice system doesn't really work. Like, that's what they're telling their officers. You know, it's all right. You know, you can use excessive force and you can avoid getting, you know, a demerit on your record if you only go to this level. Right. So I just think that the way that the cops are pre-traumatized on the job before anything ever happens to them by the cops that have been on the force for a long time and guys that kind of forgot what protect and serve was. Now they're just trying to get as much overtime as they can. Right. There's a little bit of that in a lot of these police departments where, you know, they're being trained to be fearful of something that hasn't happened to most of them. Most police officers have never even pulled their service weapon off their hip, ever. Right. And so that's kind of like where you have to kind of give the cops a little bit more grace. But when you understand how the brain works and how fear is processed through the brain, you can say to your blue in the face, well, if he just had done this, then it would have went this way. But that's not how it was processed in his brain. Right. So we have to meet the people where they are and say, well, sir, even though they whooped your ass, they only whooped your ass because you ran from them after all of this. Now, they didn't shoot you, right? So we can make the inference after the fact that nothing was ever going to happen to him because the worst that happened to him is that he got his ass beat for running, right? Like, that seems reasonable, right? But what if he had stopped and they thought they saw a gun and he's dead today? What if he saved his life by taking an ass whooping instead of being killed? We don't know that.
But that's fear. That's just letting your fear irrationally control you. If that's true,
but that's how the brain works. So you're gonna freeze or you're gonna run. You can't fight the cop.
Well, you can't fight regardless. If you run, you're still gonna get beat up or shot. If you resist arrest, I don't know. I don't think running is the smart option. I don't know. I stand by what.
Smart. But that's what I'm saying. It's not smart.
But you can overcome
the irrational brain.
Yeah, but you can overcome that irrationality side of yourself if you calm down and think. I mean, I've been in some very tense situations where it's like, okay, stop.
How do you calm down when you get lit up? I go into a state of fear when an ambulance light is behind me. Once I see them lights, I'm like, and then I see it's only red lights and there's no blue in them, or if I hear or if I see the red and blue, I'm looking all around.
Yeah, listen, as someone that's been held at gunpoint by cops, I get it. I'm just saying, you got to just calm and let that, rationale part of your side.
Well, let me ask you this then. So you've had and the thing is, I think that you were saying, So what happened? So what happened is that we were out, me and my boys.
You
were the white guy, right?
Yeah, we were all white, and we were going out. I think we went to I think it was a restaurant or some shit or whatever. We were on Bald Hill driving, and we got pulled over with guns drawn. Get out of the car! Get out the car!
Did they say what?
No, bro. It's just fucking tense. What the fuck? My hands up. What's good? And I just kind of laughed. What the fuck? I'm what's going on? And so we went on the ground, complied, didn't fight or anything like that.
Did you laugh because you thought it was funny or because you were scared shitless?
I was just in disbelief, so probably a little bit of shitless, but I did think it was kind of funny in some sense. But it was just what the fuck? I just went to Baskin Robbins or some shit, and I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, what did I do? And apparently there was a robbery or something like that, and we matched the description. So, we got pulled out.
That shit too.
And obviously nothing happened, but it was I can understand why people could let that fear. But I was in that moment, all right, let's just comply. Nothing should happen.
Right. So my question to you is, when you do see red and blues in your vicinity, what kind of reaction do you get initially?
Oh fuck! It's just God damn it! Because even when a cop's behind me, so I get it. I don't like cops behind me. I'll literally pull over to the gas station. I'll get behind them. I don't like them behind me. I just don't. Because it's you're running my plates. Fuck you.
Yeah.
But
wait. Let's not rush past that. Everybody caught that reaction.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
No. Let's talk about that.
Yo, because the problem is, I think most of the cops do good jobs, but you have some cops that like have nothing to do, and they will literally follow you. So that's why I understand there are some shitty cops, and I'm not sitting here claiming there's a lot of great cops. One of the biggest problems I had where I used to live is it was a really safe area. We had a ton of cops. They had nothing to do, so they would follow you, and it's like, dude, I'm just like, I'm trying to go do something. Like, I'm a night owl, bro. I would go to Walmart, like 24-hour Walmart, about 20 minutes away. You know, go there, get something. I'd even go run the track at night, whatever. And like, I'd have cops follow me. I'm like, bro, like, listen, I'm not. Like, it's just annoying. So I get it. Like, there's that's inherent. But for me, it's more annoying. It's like, fucking leave me alone.
Yeah.
So I can understand some of that sentiment.
You know, Elijah McClain was just walking home and he was accosted. Remember we talked about him. Trayvon Martin was walking home, minding his own business, and he was pursued by a fake cop, a guy that wished he was a cop.
But he was. I have to say that Zimmerman's not white, so let's make the record known.
But when he got that last name Zimmerman, he thought he was an honorary white man.
Oh, Jimmy Dean, I have done that.
Did you see the video? Have you seen the video of the cop that brake checked a motorcyclist?
That is hilarious and
have you
stupid.
seen this?
No, I have not.
Oh my God, I can't believe you don't know about this. Oh my God, we're pulling that up. Oh shit.
You know, my dad used to do that, by the way, brake check people. Like, he had an old Ford F-150 he didn't give a fuck about. He didn't give a fuck about, bro. So he would literally, like, if someone was riding his ass, he would just slam on the brakes. He did not give a single fuck. And he would get all the bumper twisted up. So, like, yeah, like, my dad was all about that shit. So you got to show me this. So
I'm gonna. Yo, this cop brake checked the shit out of him. Yo. Son, that's the gif of it, right?
How is he dead? I mean, how is he not dead?
I don't know, but you got to be really careful around motorcyclists. Hold on.
Let's go to the actual important part. Yeah, thank you.
That was the guy.
So unfortunately, yeah. Oh shit! Look at this guy zipping, bro.
I think he's following the cops so that he can get past traffic. See, cops don't like being followed, right?
Okay, so listen, I'm not saying what the cop did smart, but I'll be really blunt with you. You kind of deserve that. That's some karma.
I think he's trying to figure out if it was a cop. And the thing is, he had already switched lanes. That's foul.
Damn. I mean,
and the cop said stop. He was in the other lane.
That's crazy.
He said stop tailgating me. The cop was in the right lane. He was in the left lane.
I mean, listen, I don't feel that's bad though, because when you have motorcycles doing that type of shit, when you have motorcycles doing that shit, bro, like when I see them weave in between traffic like cars, I wish one day I just want to flip out my door and just say fuck you and just like slam it. It's like I hate that shit.
But he wasn't even doing that. He was behind the officer, and then the officer stays in the right lane. He switches to the left lane.
I mean, listen, that cop was salute to you. that is one. Yo, so talking about
I'm not saluting that. Like he could have killed that kid.
Yeah. I'm joking, but like talking about rear bumping. The Prince of Pegging is currently trending on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen this. I felt like we could like end the episode on a little bit lighthearted because we've been so serious throughout the whole thing. The Prince of Pegging. So apparently there's been documents. It's from a gossip website, so we don't know how true it is. But let's just go with the route that it's true. That one of the royals, and it looks like Prince William, had an extra out of marital affair with somebody because he likes pegging so much, and his wife was like very traditional. And I want to know from you, what do you what do you make of The absolute savagery of this being trending on Twitter.
We are about to go right there. So yeah.
Oh my God. So
this is the Prince of Pegging hashtag. I don't care if Prince Williams indulges in extramarital affairs. I don't care if he likes a bit of pegging. I do care that he and his wife use Meghan as a distraction from their lives being talked about.
Man, that like. Your live pictures of Pierce, right?
Oh my God. Live pictures of Piers Morgan trying to blame the Prince of Pegging Twitter trend on Meghan Markle.
Yeah, that is wild, man.
I Googled pegging. It was a mistake. I should have just sat there and ate my food. Imagine being the person that has to explain pegging to the queen.
Yo, man.
Well, off with their heads.
That's wild. That's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's wild, bro. That's wild, man. So like, yeah, like I felt like a little bit lighthearted, a little kink shaming, because
all I gotta say is they better hope Black Twitter is not bored today, because if they catch a hold of this Prince of Pegging trend, it's gonna be a mess. Oh,
I mean, so
God.
Prince William had an out of marriage affair with someone that would peg, but his wife. Apparently, what the report said on the gossip thing was that the wife approved because he would fulfill his needs as long as it didn't become romantic, and apparently it did. So,
I don't understand how a man's rectum
I don't know.
has needs.
That's a one-way road, in my opinion. That's a very interesting topic. Felt like bringing up because we here at TSP we don't kink shame. We definitely
Look at this tweet. Listen, what happens between two consenting adults is none of my business. But seeing trending at 6 a.m., priceless. First Charles wanting to be on a tampon, and now this. Y'all future kings are wild.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Bro, it's crazy, man.
The resident sausage seems to have an answer for us.
Yo, Jimmy Dean, bro, I kind of knew you were into that type of stuff. I could just kind of tell. I could sense the bitch in you,
Yeah, he likes to have sausages up his sausage. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some shit.
But I mean, I'm being honest with you, man. I'm probably gonna get something to eat here soon. I'm kind of getting hungry.
Yeah, I'm starving too. But apparently, there's a prince that has a starving butthole.
So, anything else you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Oh yeah. The whole thing with what's the young lady's name? The young lady's name that who's the young lady here that you were talking about?
Young lady's name.
Riley Gaines.
Oh shit, the swimmer shit. Like, yeah, the one that's doesn't believe in manual transmissions being in women's sports. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to kind of touch on that a little bit, like what because I think that if women are ever going to get what they want, they're going to have to speak up, because when men say it, we're going to get all kinds of labels, derogatory labels placed on us. So I just wanted to she's. I mean, I know she was on Fox News, which is more friendly towards her message. But how do you think this is going to affect her? Long term.
It will affect her how she wants it to affect her. Honestly, like I think she was a very solid swimmer. I don't know if she's Olympic quality. I'm assuming she is. But if she's a good swimmer, she's going to have opportunities, right?
Right.
Will this affect her with certain sponsors? Absolutely. Some sponsors are definitely going to touch her with a 10-foot pole because of her outspokenness regarding this subject. But I do have to appreciate someone like that finally saying the unspoken that needs to be said. From someone that's actually within the sports. Because I feel like it's such a disservice to those women to be having, biological men put into their categories and dominate them. It's crazy.
What I think is really messed up. So I'm trying to find an article that I could put up that is non-biased, right? So I just did a Google. You know what? I'm not even going to click off because we need to talk about this too. Because I know that we get a lot of flack for the sources that we choose when we try to talk about things. But you guys need to understand something, okay? I just did a simple Google News search for Riley Gaines, right? What am I getting? Right wing. I don't know what this is. This might be right wing. Fox News, Outkick, which is Fox News.
Yeah.
Fox News again, The Daily Caller, Outkick again. That's right wing. News Channel 5 is probably another Fox outlet. Where are all of the liberals at that want to talk about women's rights and women having safe spaces? Where are you? Where are you? Because the only thing that I'm seeing are the right-wingers talking about this. I mean, we're talking about a woman that says that she felt extreme discomfort. Okay? Extreme discomfort sharing a locker room with Leah Thomas. Right? Do we only care about women and how they feel and when they feel safe when it fits the narrative? Because I knew that this was going to happen. You're going to have two colliding. When you have the feminists, right? They're going to tell you that women need safe spaces, and they're going to tell you that trans women are this and that, right? But then what happens when those things clash, right? And you're talking about a young lady that is saying, well, I feel uncomfortable changing in the same room with somebody with different parts.
I mean, I don't think it's a wild take by her. I think, and to be fair to her, she's been very, in my opinion, extremely polite regarding this. I think that the main reason liberals don't cover this, like Jimmy Dean says, it goes against that narrative. Because I don't care what anyone says. If a woman was absolutely 100% honest with herself, if somebody with boobs, but they had the undercarriage of a man was in your locker room, they would feel uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. They would feel absolutely uncomfortable, and they would be lying to themselves if they didn't. So, my thing is this: is that what she's saying has a lot of validity and truth to it. I mean, hell, one of our biggest videos on our channel is up to 17,000 views is on the Thomas situation. And still people don't understand I have to say certain pronouns because we'll get the video taken down, but whatever.
Look at the second place girl. Look at the look on her face.
That's her.
No, this is the Kentucky. That's Gaines? Oh, yeah. Look at the look on her face.
Yeah. Disgust. So, but I don't blame her because you get all that work essentially thrown out the window. You know what I mean?
Insane.
So, we need a little bit more rationality and more, common sense.
Yeah. I just wonder what this is going to mean. I mean, she'll be a darling in right-wing circles. I think that, I think, yeah, she'll be a darling in right wing circles, but I wonder if, some of her opportunities, especially in corporate America, are going to be inhibited because she stood up for herself. We keep hearing from, all these people, women need to stand up for themselves, And it's like when a woman does it, no, not like that, not on that subject, not against these people.
I mean, Riley Gaines to me is the Colin Kaepernick of women. Like she's gonna
take a hit.
Yeah, she's gonna take a hit, and she is not gonna be liked about a lot of liberals, or it's just because it goes.
Call her a Karen, and try to discredit her, and try to find out if she ever said something racist, on Twitter 12 years ago or something. They're gonna pull some bullshit like that.
Yeah, then but like I'll say this: conservative circles usually are pretty wealthy. Like she'll be fine. I think she could probably pull a fan base easily. Corporate
she does
America,
look like she has that cycle chick with the eye, the beat, like the eyes like this.
Yeah, I think personally, just saying here is I think she'll be fine because it looks like she's starting to get into that politics stuff because she went on like Outkick, she went on Fox News, she went on that show with Tommy Loren Outkick. So I think that we're kind of getting to a place where she's probably already making that shift, right? Because she probably understands her standpoints isn't going to be well looked upon, and kind of capitalizing on the situation. It's like that gun girl at the at that graduation. Like she marketed that situation into a conservative fan base. So.
Are you talking about the black chick that they said that they were gonna kick out of school because she posed with guns at graduation or some shit like that?
No, she wasn't black. She was white.
Oh, okay. Because I know that a lot of people were against the black girl that posed with guns at her graduation.
I mean, I think the gun posing stuff online is corny. Like I have guns, but I don't post on Facebook I think it's kind of corny, but to each their own. But with back to
your 2DA rights, man. If they can celebrate, a rainbow flag, why can't you celebrate your right?
I don't like people knowing what I have, dude. You want to come to my place, feel free to check it out if you want to. But it's one of those things. I think people overshare on social media. And that's a whole different subject.
Less likely if people know that you're packing, they're gonna be less likely to come to your house to see what's up. I mean, I'm never going to your house.
Well, no, but my thing, yeah, I mean, I am white with a gun, but when it kind of comes down to it, though, you also got to realize with my schedule, people know I'm not always home. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be careful with what you share. But yeah, that Riley Gaines situation, I think she'll be fine. But I think that whole Thomas being allowed to swim in the first place never should have happened. Never. So, but I'm gonna get something to eat, man. I'm starving. Yeah, shit. You got anything else to say?
Let's do some shameless promotion, shall we? Let's talk about your Captain Paul channel.
So, for all my ignorant viewers that want to come and be uninformed, you can check me out on Captain Paul 91. You want sensationalism? You want ignorance? Well, you come right on in because I don't do any research. I just go full bore into it, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. But it's a thing that I think with TSP, with me being on the mend right now, we're planning on making these podcasts a lot more frequently. And with TSP, it's a commentary type channel. It's not going to be just politics. It's also going to be some sports stuff. Like I did a video on the WNBA. I think if you'd be interested in checking that out, that'd be dope. It's just me giving a little bit more individual of a voice. I also have other projects going on. I have 8-Bit Entertainment. It is a channel where it's a reaction channel where you go a bunch of music and stuff like that. React to it and kind of have conversations regarding different music and media. And then I have another channel, The Locker Room. I got a lot of that energy from crack apparently, but The Locker Room is going to be a sports related channel. Dr. Evil Genius, I'm hoping is going to be on there with me as well. I have my co-host Fajardo and my other co-host Goon, and we're going to be covering sports, different sports, whether it be hockey, baseball, soccer, whatever sport under the sun, we're gonna be talking about it. So that's the you got jokes. You know who also abandoned this channel? My fucking editor. So I don't want to hear it, bro. Listen, I have to defend myself. I had a ton of content made for this channel that never got fucking released.
You never show up. No, you never show up for Filthy Casual.
Oh, I don't. Well, how the heck is locker room not taken? I don't know. But Filthy Casual, I don't do Filthy Casual. I just don't. I got a lot going on. I'm usually on the boat. When I'm home, I'll get on. You know what? When's the next Filthy Casual?
Not this Saturday, but I think the next Saturday.
I promise I will be on next Saturday. Whatever the next Filthy Casual is, I promise I'll be on. I'll try to be on a little bit more, but when I'm on the boat, it's a little bit more difficult. That's all I got going on.
I was thinking for the Tuesday night Contender Series, we could try to do a Filthy Casual, because a lot of times on Tuesday evenings, we're just kind of chilling out or whatever. And Dana's, got these up and coming kids that want to get UFC contracts. So, guys that none of us have never really seen before. Maybe we might give that a go, or whatever. But I want you guys to go and do a YouTube search, Captain Paul 91. This is a good question. That's a good question.
The only thing I'm hitched to is these pain pills.
Oh shit.
Nah, I don't take pain. I take Motrin, but I actually refuse the pain medic. They were gonna offer me heavier stiff, but no. The addiction stuff with that, but no, not yet. It's gonna be April of next year. So I'm looking forward to.
I got April. I got married in April. What year was that? 2011.
Oh shit. And he's now
April
living
1st.
He's living every pimp's dream. Every pimp's dream. Stupid. I'm sorry.
A shameless plug, segue. We are going to be launching that locals channel if you guys want to subscribe and support the platform, because this is a very long and difficult process trying to get the motivation to continue to make a ton of videos and to do live shows and stuff like that. I know that some of you guys have been asking, what about, Patreon or something like that. I think it's like $9.99 a month or something like that. But we're going to have some really great content. We have already recorded episode 1 of the Low T show. We're going to have some sort of TSP after dark type of thing. Mrs. Evil does not want us to call it Finish on Her Face. I really want to call it Finish on Her Face. She really doesn't want that. But we want to have some uncensored, uncut live streams where we say all of the racist things. We say all of the sexist things. We say all of the things that we cannot say on YouTube. And you will see Papa Thunder is going to be making some contributions to the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got a lot more that we want to bring to you guys. So, for you guys I've asked in the past about supporting what we do, you will have an opportunity to do that. I'm hoping within the next month or so we'll get that up and then pile a bunch of content on there, and then hit you guys with the hit you guys with the with the link to that, and hopefully you guys will hit us up with some subscriptions over there, and we'll have some inside jokes over there and all that stuff. So that's what we're hoping that we'll be able to do for you guys that are not watching on YouTube. We would really appreciate it if you gave us a subscription here. We need to get to 1,000 subscribers so that we can monetize this channel. So, that would be youtube.com/c/talkingsht. We would really, really appreciate if you guys were able to help us out with that. This was a lot of fun. I know we're both tired. We're both fucking starving. We're probably gonna make some more videos later on today. We got a bunch of topics. There was a bishop that got robbed on live stream. We'll begin talking about that. Might get into some nerdy science shit. I don't know. We'll make a bunch of fucking videos, and we're hoping that you guys continue to support us. Thank you guys for hitting the like button on the stream. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And I believe
my man misspelled subscribe, dog. What is that? Subscribe?
Oh shit! Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
We're gonna blame Clicks on that as well because he's English, but he can't fucking speak English. All right,
I think that was my fuck up. That might be my fuck up.
I had to roast him. Sorry.
But yeah, please, if you haven't done so already, we would appreciate it. And I think we've talked all the shit that we're going to talk on this stream. So we up out of here.